From concept to reality, our 67 giveaway El Camino hits the paint booth. Jeremy shares secrets of an award-winning paint job, including ghost flames, shadows, fades, and a cool effect you gotta see to believe. That's all today on Truck Tech.
Well, the day is finally here to give our 67 El Camino a little color. And when I say a little color, I mean a whole bunch of colors. Basically every color of the rainbow.
That's right, and this is a very special project for us. You see, we've teamed up with Gabriel Ride Control for the Hijacker's 50th anniversary El Camino sweepstakes, where one lucky viewer, possibly you, could win the keys to this iconic ride.
And since we know one of you out there is going to win this truck, we wanted it to be perfect. So we blocked it all down, got it laser straight, blew the truck apart so we could spray the door jambs, hung it all back together, and then mask it up to prepare for base. And also, we don't really know why the previous owner had an extra fuel door or tank in the bed, but I went ahead and cleaned all of that up, and as she sits right now, she's ready for some color.
The paint on our El Camino is going to be period correct. And since we're going for a vintage 70s style build, for us, that means a lot of bright, vibrant colors that have heavy metallic and candies. Plus, Jeremy's gonna have some time to show you some custom tricks that the old school painters would use, like ghosting, a shadow, and as Bumpus says, a big old fade.
I don't know what he's talking about, but let's get this car in the booth.
Dude, it's not a car, it's a truck.
Donnie, get this car in the booth. I'm really excited about this paint job. It's a little more involved than what we normally do, but I'll get to show some techniques that you would see come out of a high-end paint shop.
All right. Well, see you in a couple days.
Hey, thanks. When prepping for a complicated color scheme like we have on our Hijacker El Camino, it is absolutely key when you hang all the panels back together that you set the gaps properly, because we're going to have graphics that run from panel to panel. And once we get the paint sprayed, well, then we can't move anything because our paint lines wouldn't match up. So before you lay down any paint, be sure you set everything exactly where you want it. You can see we've already done that.
The other thing that we've done is go ahead and seal the car in a gray PPG DP 50 sealer. Now this is going to cut down on the amount of color coats that we need to get full coverage.
Right now we're prepping for the first coat of color by making sure the El Camino is clean by wiping it down with a tack rag. When tacking, it's a good idea to use a blower at the same time. This will release any embedded dirt and the tack rag will pick it up. On a job like this, I'm using an assortment of paint guns and I'm going with DeVilbiss. I'll be using everything from a base coat gun to an airbrush. And Single Source in Nashville, Tennessee came through for us again. We're going with PPG and their DBC line. We picked up every color we need to lay down on the El Camino. We also picked up a gallon of DBC 500, which is a color blender, basically a clear base, and this is very important. I'll tell you a little bit about that later. Picked up a few gallons of 2021 clear and all the activators and reducers we'll need. We'll get started by mixing up some orange. The orange will be our pinstripe surrounding all of the graphics on the truck. It mixes 1-to-1 with the reducer and I'm using DT 885. The 885 means it's for temps ranging from 75 degrees to 90 degrees. And our booth is running right at 80, so that's perfect. I'm laying down a couple of coats of orange in the areas where the pinstripe will live. I'm spraying it around 3 to 4 inches wide to give myself a little room to play with when I start to lay down the tape. Since I don't need a very wide pattern and we're not laying down a lot of paint, I'm using the DeVilbiss SRI Pro Mini Gun. The smaller guns are great for this type of application. Okay, now we're ready to lay down some tape. Now I've sprayed quite a bit of orange here, but we're not worried about that. We're only worried about what's going to be under our tape. Now, I'm using 1/4-inch vinyl tape for this. Now, one thing to remember when you start to pull a line is don't go in small sections like this. You'll never get it straight. One thing I like to do is walk the entire panel. Now, once you do this, you can work with it a little bit and lay it down right where you want it. That works really well. Now, remember, tape is cheap and paint isn't, so get this right the first time. The reason I sprayed the orange so wide is to make sure I cover where I want the stripe to be. And if I happen to stand back and look at it and think it would be better an inch one way or the other, well, I've already got the paint there to make it happen.
Next, laying out the flames.
Well, as you can see, I've gotten all the tape laid down for our pinstripe, and I've taken a little bit of time to mask up the truck so we don't continue to get overspray all over everything. Now, there's many ways you could spray this truck. Usually you have a dominant color, and that's what you would lay down first, and then you would add paint on top of that. But as you can see, we pretty much have an equal amount of each one. So I've decided I'm going to start with the blue because it's got the most detail in it, it's going to be the most time consuming, and I just want to knock it out. So we're going to go ahead, finish this up, go out there and mix up a little blue. Sometimes your vinyl tape will get wrinkles around the corners. Here's a tip. Heat up the tape with a lighter and it shrinks right down and will lay flat. The blue mixes 1-to-1 with a cap full of activator, and I'm using the DeVilbiss base coat gun to lay it down. The metallic colors just flow out of this gun and it makes spraying easy. And I'm laying down a few coats of the blue. Now I'm laying down a coat of the DBC 500 clear base. This is a very important step. This product gives our base a protective coating for laying down graphics. If we happen to get any overspray on the panel like from spraying our flames, this product easily allows us just to sand the overspray off, where we couldn't do that on our metallic blue base. I'll do this before every graphic that goes down. Okay, I've got a coat of clear base laid down, and that's going to protect our blue because we're about to have hands all over this thing, ready to lay down our flames. And I'm using 1/8" tape for this, and that panel I painted a little while back, we'll use that as reference as we go. But you know, you can't think of an old hot rod without thinking about flames. You know, it started back in the 40s, 50s, and usually when you think flames, you think about the white, orange, yellow to red flames, right? Well, on these, we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna ghost them in. I'm actually going to use a candy color and airbrush around the inside of the tape line, and that's just going to create this effect to where outside in the sun you'll be able to see them, they'll really pop, but inside a building or something like that, they're going to be really hard to notice, and that's just a cool effect. Now fortunately for me, I got to work with a lot of these old school guys that showed me some of those tips and tricks that most people won't show you. So I didn't have to learn this all on my own, but it does take a little bit of skill to get this down. But man, you just can't beat it. Laying down graphics like this freehand is an art, and it takes a lot of practice. That's all there is to it. Grab an old panel and get a good quality tape and just start pulling lines. The more you do it, the better you'll get. Okay, we've got the flames laid out on the driver's side of the truck and it's looking really good. We're ready to lay them out on the passenger side. Now for me to completely mimic this freehand, well, that would be impossible to do. But I've got a way you can make a mirror image of this, and it's really easy. Using a piece of white masking paper, powdered chalk, a chalk pen, and a pounce wheel. Let me show you what I'm talking about. First, I'm laying down the paper over my flames and I'm simply tracing out the flames with my chalk. Next, I'm taking my pounce wheel, which is a wheel with sharp points that will put little holes in the masking paper. And I'm just going over the chalk line with the wheel. To mimic the flames, I'll flip the paper over and tape it down in the right location on the passenger fender. Then lightly apply the powdered chalk and it will go right through the holes we made with the pounce wheel. Okay, now you can see we have the outline of what's on the other side. And when I marked the chalk line over there, I marked on the inside line of the tape. So we'll take our 1/8" tape now and pull a line right along the outside of the chalk. And we've got the whole rest of the car to do, but we'll let LT do that. All right, now we're on to the fun stuff. I know this may look a little confusing, but it's really not. We're gonna make it simple. We're gonna take it one flame at a time. So what I'm gonna do is lay out 2" tape. Now the reason I'm not laying paper down and masking the whole side of the vehicle is because we're using an airbrush. That's going to create very little overspray, plus we're using a candy paint. It's very transparent, so if we do get any overspray on anything, you're probably not going to see it. but with as tight as we can spray with an airbrush, we're not even gonna have to worry about overspray. All I wanna do here is protect the next flame from getting paint on it where I don't want it. Okay, that is one flame.
Next, airbrushing ghost flames.
Okay, so you've heard me talk about candy paints a couple of times now. A candy is a paint with translucent pigments in it. It's basically a clear base with a tint. As you can see, it's pretty transparent. You can see right through it and see the paint paddle. Now, the way this stuff works is the more coats we lay down on our panel, the darker it will get. So we'll probably lay down 3, 4, 5 coats until we get the look we're going for, but let's get at it. I'm following along the inside edge of the tape, and I'm trying not to get too heavy in the center of the flame. I kind of want it to fade out as it gets in there. So 4 or 5 coats and it looks really good. Now if we were using just a solid color or something like that, we could just mask the whole side of the car and just lay 1 coat down and we'd have it done. We could then lay down a pinstripe and use the pinstripe to dictate what flame is overlapping the next. When you're ghosting them like this, you have to spend a little more time and go into a little more detail, but end result looks really good. Okay, I've got all the flames sprayed and it took me about 8 hours, spent about 4 hours on each side, but they look really good and it was well worth the time. Now I figured since this is the Gabriel Hijacker El Camino, why not brand it with their logo? But instead of freehanding it like I did these flames, I'm gonna show you another method because let's face it, not everyone can do this. So I went down to the decal shop and had a stencil cut. Now this applies to almost anything. You can have flames cut, letters, whatever you can come up with, they can probably cut it for you. With those small pieces, I'm using a razor and tweezers, but be very careful not to dig into the paint. Patience. The next and last step to our blue is laying down the shadow along the outer edges. I'm spraying 3 coats of blue candy and I'm using a very small fan pattern. This will make it appear that our orange pinstripe is casting a shadow down to our blue. Now we can go ahead and unmask the hood and get ready to spray the first color in our fade effect. The orange fades into the yellow, which means the yellow goes down first. This is a toner off of PPG's mixing bank, and it mimics the yellow in Gabriel Hijacker's logo. That way it all ties in. Since it needs to completely cover the orange overspray from the pinstripe, I'll lay down 4 coats. Now onto the orange. I'll hit the solid spots first like the bed rail and roof. The hood is handled a little differently. This is LT's big old fade he was talking about. I want the orange to fade into the yellow, so I'll start at the cowl and work forward. When I get to the end of the line, a flick of the wrist fades the orange into the yellow. This really doesn't take a whole lot of skill, just practice. For the very end of the fade, a small amount of yellow is mixed in with the orange to make the transition between the two blend more naturally. And that's all there is to it.
Next, painting with water.
Okay, we've got our fade laid down and we've covered that with 1 coat of clear base. Now we can leave that just like it is and it would look really cool, but I want to add a little bit to it. I'm going to do what's called the water drop effect, and I've shown you on my test panel that I sprayed a little while back. Basically, all we want to do is fill a water bottle full of water and spritz the panel where we want the water drops. We'll then mix up some orange and some yellow. We'll spray the front and the backs of the water drops. As they evaporate, the paint will fall down to the panel, and it'll leave you with that right there. And I'll show you step by step how to do it. The first step is to fully soak the panel with H2O. Obviously, the bigger the droplets, the bigger the effect. Now the goal is to dust the paint over the water drops. You want to spray just enough that the water catches the paint. Too much orange will change the color of the hood, and that would not be good. Now onto the yellow. Since I sprayed the front of the drops orange, the back of the drops get misted yellow. To put this in perspective, less than 2 ounces of paint on both sides create an effect that will have everyone at the show and shine talking. Okay, so we've got all the water sprayed. It's had time to sit for a while, so the water's had time to evaporate, and if it's done everything it's supposed to, it should look pretty cool. Now, that looks great. The paint's laid down on the panel really nice, which mimics the water drop. It looks really awesome. Spraying the front of the drops orange and the backs yellow creates this shadow effect. It actually tricks the eye, making you think this thing just went through a rainstorm. And just for kicks, here's some close-ups of the water before it evaporated and after. It's a cool paint trick many old-timers won't easily give up. Well, now you know how it's done.
Jeremy's got one color left to lay down, and it's the same 1690 core satin aluminum he sprayed on the firewall. This heavy metallic will surround the graphics and colors in 4 coats total.
Now our Gabriel El Camino can be unwrapped. And if we mask it properly, there shouldn't be any color bleeds or runs. I like to tell LT, just take your time. No need to hurry at this point. Just gently and slowly pull up the masking, revealing our color transitions. I think it took a long time. I think I'm tired. I want to go home and I want to go to bed. You know, I have to say, you guys are a little too late to come help out, though.
I'm helping you out awesomely. Good job, Bumpus.
It looks really good, but I got one question.
What's that?
Why isn't it shiny?
Oh, it will be, Mark. It's coming. Is it straight? Is that line straight?
It flows. It flows well.
It's flowy.
You know what makes an El Camino not a muscle car?
Hold on.
I was just about to ask you, Mark.
What makes an El Camino not a muscle car?
The tailgate.
Have you looked at it like this, LT? Because that's how you're supposed to look at it. Like
I don't look at diesel engines that way. Why would I look at paint that way?
because this is how body men look at things. You get real close,
How far away?
like
20 thousandths?
almost touching it.
Okay.
Like that. You gotta
What do you
down
look
here.
for?
I don't know. They just look at it like this. I have no idea what they're looking at.
Is it like, you know, I kind of flunked out of like the fine art class. Was it like one of those where you just have to like stare at it until it'll hit you, it'll jump out at you?
Could be.
You know,
That's why body guys are so weird.
When does the rabbit go on it?
next, rabbit been cleared.
We're calling this our big rabbit on the door. The logo celebrates Gabriel's official 50th anniversary of their hijacker shocks. And instead of Jeremy freehanding this, we'll apply decals to both doors.
Last but not least, we're gonna lay down 10 coats of clear. It's DCU 2021, and I know what you're thinking. 10 coats? That's overkill. Well, this is a pretty special project for us and Gabriel. And since we laid down so many layers of paint, we want to make sure that we bury those lines.
Good on that side?
Good so far?
Cool. Wow.
Right.
Make somebody a real nice car.
Truck.
Are you sure?
We've known for years the benefits of running Royal Purple synthetic motor oil to maximize the performance of your engine. But what about your cooling system? This is Purple Ice, a high-performance conditioner and corrosion inhibitor, so it protects your engine and can make it run up to 22 degrees cooler. And a couple of bottles to take care of your setup. Check out royalpurple.com.
If you have a 66 or 67 GM8 body with a basic warning lamp style instrument cluster, then you'll probably wonder how your engine's running. Original Parts Group offers this super sport gauge conversion that gives you up-to-date information on oil pressure, water temperature, fuel level, and of course the battery. It's a simple conversion using your original cluster. Plus it comes with everything you need for a complete installation, like the temperature sending unit and all the oil fittings. Plus it's finished in satin black for a factory appearance. Order yours at opgi.com. Thanks for watching Truck Tech. We'll see you next time.